Much Dip podcast. My name is Dave. I'm going to host, and I've got a very special announcement that I will drop on you guys after these introductions in studio, behind the board, behind the scenes. It's Randy Trimbacki.
Hi, Dave.
Joining me, as always, in studio, none other than Dylan Shivery.
Hi, Dave.
Don't do that.
Yeah, what the heck was that?
That sucked so
That
bad.
was my Randy. Oh, hey, how you doing?
Everyone wants to be me.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it is. Hey, congrats on your success in sports.
I'm feeling very successful.
Yeah, good. Happy for you.
I'm happy for you. Hey, here's a guy coming at us from Madison, Wisconsin. He has what appears to be a SMU game day polo that is, I love the color. Looks really good. It's kind of popping on screen. It's KJ.
Hola, Davide. Happy to be here with you, sir. Happy spring all around. Still feeling the effects of Cinco de Mayo. Not sure if you fellows have heard of it. Kind of a local event here in Wisconsin. Big day for the margaritas. Margaritas, if you will.
They say the best taco salad, or is it Taco Bowl or Trump Tower? Where is it?
I believe it was Taco Bowl at Trump Tower.
He said he loves the Hispanics.
Well, it was just according to one person in particular.
The guy whose name's on the building?
Yeah. Love the Hispanics.
That's how I read it too. What are the celebrations up there Madison way looking like?
I was wished May the 4th be with you more times than I saw acknowledgement of Cinco de Mayo. However, the closest restaurant to me is a decent Mexican restaurant, and that place was packed. Cars in like the adjoining lawn. I did not go by it, or I didn't go in, but drove by it. Few people know Cinco de Mayo is also my anniversary, so shouts to easily memorable dates and whatnot. Didn't celebrate that either. All in all, 0 for 2.
Did you guys do a theme party? Like wedding?
Yeah, like Nicole and OJ. Oh, the wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we did some like subtle things. I think we had a signature margarita, or maybe I did taco socks as like a part of the groom's like gift basket thing I gave everybody. There were little things. We didn't go like all out, aggressive with it.
Sure.
Wearing a Fu Manchu mustache by the end of the night.
Taco socks. You own any taco socks?
Not yet.
What's the worst item of food to put your foot into? Like the actual physical version of the food. A burrito? A burrito would be pretty fucking gross.
Like a bean and cheese burrito.
Ooh.
There are a lot of foods.
Peach cobbler.
It'd not be fun to put your foot into. Pudding.
Yeah, pudding is a bad one.
Yeah.
Hot soup.
Italian wedding soup.
I got to say, we did teach the world how to eat, but Italian wedding soup, you can keep that one off the menu. Just saying.
Don't know what it is.
Well, it's soup for a wedding.
What's it?
I don't really know, like little meatballs. It's just not. I've never had it that I liked, and I liked it. It was just always, just give me some Campbell's thick and chunky. Give me some Donovan McNabb. You keep the Italian wedding soup for yourself, please.
Fair enough, Dave.
We should do a
I got the
draft, a
reference.
Campbell's draft.
I'm down.
Dylan's writing that down, typing it, hacking away over there.
I don't think we need to do a
You might as well
draft.
been chiseling that into a tablet.
That was pretty fast typing for a
That wasn't bad.
Hunter and Pecker.
That was not bad. Hey, I've had this on here to discuss, and you guys can stop me if we've talked about it already, but I've had it at the bottom of the rundown. Are you familiar with Art But Make It Sports on Twitter?
It's new to me.
You've probably seen it and not realized what it was, but it is quickly becoming a emerging star on Twitter. The guy who does it, he's done all sorts of podcasts, but essentially when there's like a good photo, something iconic from a game, he will find a corresponding piece of art. Feel free to scroll down, Randy, and tweet it out with it. This, of course, can be found on Twitter. I believe it's @ArtButSports. You've got Tom Brady from his roast. keep going. And he'll find, I don't know how he does it. He says he does not use AI. I believe it is actual art, but it's just impressive and people love it. And I think it's worth the follow.
Art but sports.
Art, but sports.
Okay.
You see there, guy looking at his hand. Hey, there's another guy looking at his hand. Oz
Oh,
Reed.
I did see that one, the Kentucky Derby picture. That one hit the tee out, and I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah. I don't know how much into art you guys are into, but I'm a big Renaissance man. I've always fucked with
Okay.
the Da Vinci's, things of that nature. Who's your favorite artist, KJ?
John Baptiste,
Mm,
the
okay.
musical artist,
okay.
I sort of like them all, Dave.
But like what period?
and it's Batiste actually. Usually the same each month, I guess. I had no like recourse here. Your boy got kicked out of art class like in second grade. I never went back.
That
I had to
period
take
joke?
music twice.
Casey made a
This is a
menstruation
true
joke.
fact.
That's a good one. Okay. Well, I look, I knew that was a possibility. I thought we were better than that, but leave it up to KJ, the remote guy who doesn't have to sit in the studio to drop that one. I'm sure he'll time out and have to drop off because he's done so much damage here he can't even finish the show. Just wanted to
I'll
talk-
say this: like, I absolutely love the account. It makes me feel very ignorant on the art side when I read the title, and I'm like, dude, you could call this fucking John Smith's Potato in a Basket, 1948, and I would not be able to fact check like the actual art. Like I assume the internet does, but every time I appreciate it. I've been on my see how fast I can leave shit. I sent this to the group yesterday. I have a young gentleman. I'll have to find his name, but he makes his social media content of attending a game. They seem to be reputable games, which is shocking. He'll make his way to the very top of the arena, and as soon as the final whistle or out or buzzer occurs, as fast as he possibly can, he gets out of the stadium, like without like running over people, and times it. And I'm like, simple but fucking effective. And then he does, let's see how long I can stay, and waits until security like asks him to leave in places, and both quite good.
I stayed after Dirk's last game in San Antonio. I stayed probably longer than 95% of the arena. A lot of it was, I'm just going to let it clear out. I don't really, it was like a Tuesday or a Thursday night. I don't have anything to do.
Yep.
And I just hung out in the arena, and to the point to where one of the ushers was like, hey, they're going to kick you out in like 5 or in the next 10 minutes. So I left. I was just kind of taking it all in. But does he do parking lot too? Like, does he have a vehicle out there and does he time that as well? Because that's the real wild card.
He's not dadded it up to that level yet, which I do appreciate that thought, but it is like the moment his feet hit sidewalk outside the arena, which, to your point about how long you can stay, it is surprisingly longer. Like, I don't know why I feel pressured to leave, but nobody's forcing you out. But for some reason, I feel like it's like, gotta go.
Get your money's worth.
Inconveniencing somebody somewhere. I don't know. It's weird.
It's like being at a restaurant after they're starting to stack the chairs, and they're stacking the chair, cleaning the tables all around you, and you can kind of feel it, and you can feel the glares coming from like the kitchen and like the host. It's a whole thing. It's not a good feeling. Randy, you put off vibes as somebody who stays at restaurants
It's
too
like
long.
when the store's about to close, and every 5 minutes they get on the loudspeaker like, the store will be closing in 15 minutes. It's like, oh, I gotta get to the front now.
I play the dad card. Well, I like to beat traffic. Unless I know that the game is going to come down to the wire, I'm out there early. I'm not. I have no shame about it either. You got to beat the traffic, man.
I will say the most violent parking lot situation I've ever been a part of, outside of the great Duncanville South Grand Prairie brawl of 2002 at the Cheddar's off of 20. The Taylor Swift Eras Tour parking lot, getting out of there was fucking brutal. And I was driving, and I got to tell you, those
Dallas or
moms-
Austin?
Arlington.
Arlington. Okay, yeah.
And getting out of that lot, I have never seen so many moms just willing to sacrifice the vehicle they were in just to get ahead Like by one, it's a line. It's a 1 in, 1 out. You're supposed to abide by the zipper rule. Some people don't know what that is, apparently. It was cutthroat, man. It was a lot of like heated, bad eye contact, moms with 12 girls in their minivan trying to get out of there. And then just me and my wife, just like, you know what, that was a great show. Let's get on. And then, an hour and a half later, we're still in the parking lot. Not fun.
I'll never leave a game early. One time when we were kids, my dad is like 8th inning. White Sox were down a lot, and like we left as we're leaving, home run, and we're like, "All right, we're still down a lot. We're going to leave." And we listened to it on the radio on the way back home. They came back and went extra innings. I think the White Sox won it. Like we were down a lot. The last inning was electric, and we had already left the stadium, and it was so I'll never leave.
Never.
I will wait until maybe when I have kids, but like now it's like as an adult. Right now, I will wait till the very last second until it's not over till it's over.
You will. The kid, I think it's a foregone conclusion. We'll give you a pass on that. But I guarantee you wait till a SIGA is involved, and your urgency to leave is going to be incredibly increased. Even if it's not like, hey, let's get on to the next thing type situation. But their patience for sitting around watching the confetti fall and watching the Zamboni come back out, like that ain't going to be there.
If it is a playoff game and it is one that we are going to win, I will stick around. You know what? Coming off of a big dub, I don't mind sitting in the traffic. I probably paid way too much to be there, and I'm going to get my money's worth. I want to be there. I want to high five strangers. I want to hug a stranger. KJ, you and I, we went to which series was
Clippers.
that? Mavs Clippers a couple years ago. We lost.
Yep.
I remember being fairly hammered and very sad.
Oh, yeah.
Did we leave early?
No. We went next door, continued on the onslaught, and it was a long night for your boy.
That's right. That was a good time, though. I remember just being so mad watching them interview Paul George down there, like right under us, and I was just like, man, fuck that guy. I was so upset. Let's take it. Oh man,
I think that was Pete Pat Bev too.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess I don't have him on the rundown, but we'll talk a bit of him later. Anyhow.
Did you guys catch the Brady Roast? Dylan, I know you watched a little bit of it with me here.
Yeah.
I did. Did any of you or did either of you anticipate caring or expecting or remembering this was occurring going into the weekend? Because I can firmly say, completely forgot what on my radar.
I knew nothing of it until it was like released. Actually, people started talking about it on Twitter. So no, it was off my radar completely.
I knew it was happening. I did not realize it was this weekend. I haven't really cared for a roast since maybe like the roast of Bob Saget, rest in peace, like a long time ago, back when Greg Giraldo was still doing them, and now he's passed away. So I did not tune into this live, as it was, I believe, aired live, correct? On Netflix?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Hosted by one Kevin Hart. Can we give our quick generic takes on Kevin Hart? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'll let you go first.
I don't mind him, but I absolutely can see how he might rub people the worst way. I don't seek his stuff out, but he doesn't do anything negative for me.
Okay.
I like Kevin Hart. I enjoy him. I think he's funny. The Kevin Hart is short jokes are plentiful. Maybe they go a little too hard to the well on that one from literally everybody, but I get it. It's an easy mark.
Nikki Glazer called him 15 cent.
It's good.
Instead of 50 cent, which
he's 5'2".
It kind of
he's
went
shorter
under the
than
radar.
Cat Williams. I didn't realize that.
He's a little fella.
Yeah. I liked him last night. I liked him in his hosting capacity. Do I consume his movies? No, not usually. Just not for me. He's in a lot of them. So there's a lot of movies that are not for me, it turns out.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, you're ignoring half a genre because I feel like they cherry pick him for every other role.
Yeah, no, seriously. But I thought he did a good job last night. And that thing was like over 2.5 hours. That's a long fucking time to be doing that. But so we had a game 7 last night, which we'll get to. This was going on at the same time. And I just kept seeing the timeline. Shout out to I think most of the Barstool personalities I follow were tweeting clips and tweeting about it, so I kind of knew what to look for. But all in all, went back and watched 90% of it. Really good. Like those things can suck. We've seen some shitty roasts, and it's either somebody who it's like, why are we roasting this person? Or you get people up there and they're afraid to really go and be as like crass as they need to be and talk about the things. They didn't really hold back on Tom. It was a lot of Giselle, a lot of divorce jokes, and I don't know how much he liked it.
I agree. Like the subject has to be like universally appreciated or nearly universally appreciated. I feel like that's key to be enjoyable. And then you've got to feel like they're going to be a good sport. I don't know what I expected out of Tom Brady. I don't think I felt highly about his personality. I felt like he was kind of a cheese ball in general. But like, you couldn't talk shit about his record. So like he kind of had that like A-Rod attitude all the time. But I would say like Martha Stewart was probably the height of my like Comedy Central roast experience and like joy. I felt like that was the first time I was like, okay, they went out of the box of like a comedian. And at that point, nobody knew Martha Stewart like they do now in terms of like her and Snoop and all of her like comedic personality. And they flamed her and it was great. And last night wasn't to that level, but like Brady held his own and he's been in like intense media training for like 4 months or whatever, working to prepare for the Fox role in the fall. But by the end of it, I was like, you know what? A night of partying with Brady would not be the worst fucking experience ever. He did not seem like he'd be a complete asshole. So, that was positive.
Do you think during the after party, whatever they do, I don't know, they go to the club or someone's mansion or something and party, is it like, hey, man, you kind of went hard there? Or is it just like all like laughs and hugs, like, oh, that was great? Because, they hold nothing back. They will pull out like every skeleton in your closet and expose it. And it's just, some of that stuff hits pretty hard,
Yeah, like your wife leaving you for her jujitsu instructor.
Yeah.
Famously called and hilariously called a karate man by Kevin Hart like 20 times. Very different martial art, but still, okay, I get it. Yeah, I think unless you just have like the dumbest management team ever, you going into it like, all right, there's really nothing that is off limits. And it seemed like the only thing last night, and this clip made the round, was Jeff Ross referencing the Orchids of Asia, the Robert Kraft.
Which would have been like the theme of the set if I were fucking producing this thing.
Yeah, that's going to be a major player. Like Robert Kraft, you got to let him know, like, hey, you shouldn't show up, dude. Because a big part of this is you flying across the country before the AFC Championship to get a hand job. That's going to be a big player here.
Which is why Giselle didn't show up, I assume, because she knew that probably she'd be mentioned in many jokes with the whole very public divorce thing happening and the jiu-jitsu instructor. So good on her for not showing up. I wouldn't have showed up. I mean, just the tension, knowing that you could be the next one in the crosshairs is probably too much for me.
He may have asked,
but she could have held like a Peyton Manning like position, like the balance of the roast. You've got all the people on the stage, unnecessarily a bunch of ex-teammates, but then you've got your guest speakers or your guest roasters who are all somewhat a surprise, or at least I believe in wrestling enough to say like all of the guest roasters like are surprised to Brady to a certain extent. If they would have brought Giselle out as like the final roaster before Brady goes up, because nobody takes shots at the like guests coming through, especially not the last person. There's nobody talk shit about them except for, the central person. That would have been something fucking nice. Obviously, it ain't happening with their dynamics, but geez, I would have been locked in.
Yeah, these things usually go based on my history watching the Comedy Central roasts. It would be like you'd have the person getting roasted, and there's some good jokes thrown at them. But the best part of it was always when the other comics and the people on the dais get roasted. Like that ends up being the best material. And a lot of these comics, that kind of was. I don't know if you guys saw Tony Hinchcliffe, if you're familiar with the Kill Tony stuff and his comedic stylings. But man, He went pretty hard. Yeah. I don't know where you guys think comedy is these days and what words are appropriate.
Kardashian.
Oh, Kim? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she took some L's last night.
She
but
got booed off the stage.
You have to expect that. She not only did she get booed, but she was the subject of quite a few pretty inappropriate jabs.
Yeah. Tom got a lot of, they ripped him a lot for his appearance. He does look overly,
Looks like a cartoon.
he looks overly worked up.
Yeah.
He does look like a cartoon. And juxtapose that, Dylan,
Mm-hmm.
with the guy who I've got is my big winner of the night. Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe looks great.
He looks fantastic. He was funny. He was likable.
He aged incredibly well. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's had a little work done, but like he looked just like a guy. He's got a nice tan to him, like he plays a lot of golf.
And for someone whose legacy is like the guy who got Wally pipped by Tom Brady, like he wears it pretty well. You know?
I had no clue where that relationship stood. I
Yeah.
always just felt bad for Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
It's like, even though he made millions and
He had a
great career,
he had a really good career until he lost his job.
former Cowboy great.
Sure. But yeah, like that's his legacy. Like he's the guy.
Did he lose his job to Quincy Carter in Dallas?
I don't
What was
know.
the story there? I could be wrong about that.
06 was his final season. I will get back to you with how it ended. Give me
Okay.
a
No big deal.
brief moment. His play became erratic, so much so that he was replaced by future Pro Bowler Tony Romo.
That's right.
Yes,
that one
he
hurts a little
followed
bit more.
Testaverde.
That hurts a little bit more than Brady. But man, what a showing for him. I didn't think I thought Ben Affleck would have a little bit more. I don't know why I had faith in Ben Affleck.
I felt bad. It was uncomfortable. Not because his jokes were so bad, but like I think everybody was watching the seams if it like just kind of come apart a little bit on him. Like everybody knows he's going through some shit recently and otherwise. But like when you see that in somebody in a position to be a comedian, like Ben Affleck's not a comedian. Like he can't keep together in that environment when, he's a mess getting up there. And I don't know, there were the verbal tics and maybe that's just how he's always been, but something about watching him, like, it just was like, all right, these jokes aren't hitting. I don't blame him, but it just was weird.
He overcussed. He's an overcusser. I don't know if maybe that's a Boston thing, but you'd see a lot of these guys. Gronk did it too. Like the non-comedians, they're like, all right, well, they did not write their jokes. They have someone write for them. They have a team that'll write them stuff.
Oh no, yeah.
But
the roasters, the professional roasters, like feed them all.
I
the
think
jokes.
Jeff Ross writes a lot of those jokes, and you watch like Ben Affleck go up there and just like, oh, mother, this, a lot of mother f this, and that. It's like
fuck you.
a lot of crutch cussing, which is never a good sign when you gotta do that.
Yeah, the joke writing part is kind of what I give a pass to a lot of the people who go up there and bomb because, like you said, Jeff Ross does a bunch of it. It's my understanding it's almost like SNL where like they've got a writer's room and then they just work with whatever non-comedians are there. So I love that concept of it. And if there's any like, hey, that was too far conversations after, I think of it a lot like the Norm Macdonald bit of like, who wrote this? Who wrote that one? Hey, who wrote this joke? Like they're going around the room, like trying to take credit for like, if this dig was too far, like whose was that? And then if I'm the person who wrote it, I'd be like, no, they fucking ad-libbed it. That's on them.
I didn't tell you guys on circling back this morning, but Saturday night, I actually watched some of Cat Williams' new special on Netflix. Yeah, also a live special. I got about 20 minutes in, and I don't know what I ended up doing. It wasn't the Pimp Chronicles.
Started it off.
It was not the Pimp Chronicles. I will tell you that. It was not as good as I wanted it to be.
I don't know the names of his stand-up sets, but which is the one where he starts it off with he keeps playing "Every Day I'm Hustling"? Is that?
I think that's it.
Because I've been served that a few times on Reels, I think, and I laugh every time. I have to admit.
Cat Williams?
Yeah, it's a great opening bit.
It is a good bit.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'll give it to you, Dave.
All
I didn't
right.
watch the rest of it though.
I got it. It's fine.
I realize we are way off track and like we're barely through our first thing. But let's talk a little about maybe our sponsor, and then I'll tell you what my Saturday night was because I don't want to drag us into the mud too far with it. But it deserves to be shared.
Well, before we do that, you got to let me share my big announcement, which I completely forgot about. That's how big it was.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
You ready? I had a big Kahuna cheesesteak from Jersey Mike's for lunch.
A chicken one too.
A
not
chicken,
even a steak.
a big Kahuna chicken cheesesteak from Jersey Mike's. And I've got to tell you, this is not sponsored. That fucker was good. Speaking of crutch cussing, that motherfucker was fucking good.
A
You ever
big
had one?
Kahuna cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Chicken cheesesteak.
Chicken.
To be specific.
Wow.
We got jalapenos. We've got mushrooms. We got cheese,
Green peppers?
green pepper. It was just delightful, man.
Huh.
I'm embarrassed to say that I made a very similar, like, we got McDonald's at home with no intent of this. We hadn't talked about this, but I had like whatever sliced chicken deli meat in the kitchen. I was like, fuck this. I'll throw some hot sauce. I'll throw it in a fucking griddle. Or see, I'm over cussing now. I'll throw it in a pan now with some cheese, and I'll throw in some toast. And that was lunch. And I thought I was chef of the year. Didn't realize I was making a very embarrassingly cheap big Kahuna at home.
He did the big Kahuna at home. What'd you have for lunch?
What makes it a big Kahuna?
Randy?
Is there like
If you have
pineapple
to
mixed in or
ask.
something?
I do have to ask because I don't know what that is. All right, fine. You don't have to.
He wouldn't get it.
I wouldn't.
It's just like it's like you're surfing a party wave in your mouth.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But it's a cheesesteak, a chicken cheesesteak.
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
He gets it.
Okay.
He gets it now.
It was delightful. And I found something else out about Jersey Mike's, and this is a problem. Next to the register, they have a 3-can display. What are those 3 cans? They're now serving Celsius at Jersey Mike's. You can just buy a
Are
Celsius.
you kidding?
And I'm sitting there. I had no intention of doing Celsius today. I was like, I'm gonna just take a step back.
You got a Celsius.
The display was right there, and I go, so how long y'all been doing this? And he's like, oh, about 3-4 months. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do one.
Celsius is everywhere
It's
now.
incredible,
Yeah,
incredible.
so popular.
So I went big Kahuna Celsius lunch.
What type of vibes?
Literally, no one is doing that.
What were the vibes on that Celsius?
Peach vibe.
Tropical.
Oh, the tropical vibes and a big Kahuna. You were on a straight party wave
Damn.
today. Dave.
Yeah, I was 10 toes down, toes on the nose.
Ooh-wee.
Oh wee! Hey man, after that workout, I'm gonna have to consult our next sponsor, FitBod. Our good friends at FitBod. I'm feeling pretty fit right now. TBH.
Yeah, you've been doing you got your shoulder back in.
I did a little PT for the shoulders, and now I'm like working FitBod back in, and it kind of helps make my workout plans easier. I just go in there and I say, hey, I've got 2 kettlebells. Here's what I got. Maybe I got 1. I gave you 1 during COVID.
You did very nice.
A kettlebell, that is. And it helps me formulate workouts, and it lets me track workouts all through this great app. You've been using it. You do some body weight stuff, no?
I've been using it. No, I go to the gym. So
Oh, okay.
I told the app that I have all the gym equipment available to me, and it tailors my workouts for exactly what I need.
It creates a personalized workout routine.
Yes, it does.
It's fantastic. Based on your goals, your fitness level, available equipment, it adapts as you improve, which is important. You got to confuse those muscles, keep them challenged, push you to make progress, and it even tracks your muscle recovery, and it's fine-tuned by experienced, certified personal trainers to bring best practices and exercise science to you. You can even learn new movements the right way with over 1,000 demonstration videos. That's important because there's a lot of stuff you can do in the gym. Our age, Dylan, I mean, I'm knocking on the door, that 40 door. At our age, man, you got to make sure you have good form because you could get hurt. That's why they've got these videos, over 1,000 demonstration videos. Check them out. Add FitBod to your workout essentials. Join FitBod today to get your personalized workout plan. Get 25% off your subscription or try the app free at fitbod.me/bang. That's fitbod.me/bang. KJ, you had some bombs you want to drop.
I'll be quick about this, but I do feel like it's something I've got to own publicly. I haven't shared with you fellas, but quite a bit recently I've been on my monkey shit, on my ape shit, as I've finished, I don't know, 3 or 4 installments of both the throwback and the recent Planet of the Apes series. Masterful work.
Oh,
This isn't entirely about that, but I had planned to watch the new one this weekend. I made a quick pit stop at a local grocer, and I picked up a beverage that mentioned 25 milligrams in it, which I thought was a lot. I won't even throw the abbreviation out there, just for public purposes and whatnot, but not just CBD, but the other stuff in there. 25 milligrams in one can.
okay.
THC?
I sent a photo.
Is that what we're
Sent a
talking
photo
about?
of the can to a friend of ours, TC, who's very familiar in that world. He goes, "That's a lot." I'm like, I misunderstood. And I was like, you know what? I'll dive in. I end up watching the Meg 2, and I'm here to tell you fellas, I don't think I've had a Saturday quite as eventful, full of just absolute beautiful cinema in my life. And I missed the Cat Williams thing because I started the Meg on accident. And it was well worth my time.
So you got
So,
high and watched the
I-
Meg 2, is what you're telling us.
It was the best Saturday I've had in quite some time, fellas.
What? All right, remind me about the Meg.
Short for Megalodon is about the prehistoric
Correct.
shark that's massive.
What the fuck?
I've seen both of them as well with Parks because he's into that, really into that shit.
Did you drink a beverage like that?
I watched it with my son at the theater, and I did not get high beforehand. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, KJ.
Wait, so
That's a lot of.
I'm just here from here on out just to say, like, that has never been my forte, my area of interest when it comes to hanging out real good. I'll just go straight bourbon. I'll go beer. But who knows? This might be my lane. It might be the summer of I don't know, how would you abbreviate that in an alliteration manner? Summer of smoke without smoking. Summer of sip and smoke. How about that? There you go.
it's the KJ's own little up and smoke tour. But it's in a beverage. Like
It's great.
those are actually. This is actually.
It's so
I
much.
sent you a photo of it. I texted both of you a photo of it for record. Beyond that, like, I don't know how to describe it was the problem. Like, I don't know what you would call these beverages.
God, dude. Are you seeing this?
Where
Does
did
it
you
look
send
like
it?
it's a lightweight
texted it.
item?
I know, but what? Oh, okay. Oh,
I
just
don't
now
think
you did.
It's by Oliphant Brewing.
I don't think I'm
and
drinking
it's,
this.
the title of it was called Instinct
What the hell?
Infused Lemonade.
Why do you need that much THC in a beverage? That is so much.
You don't.
I'm twisted
don't,
off 5.
But I was thinking 5. I don't know why I caught 25 in my head. I don't know. I honestly have no excuse for like thinking, okay, that's what I should be looking at. But it was great.
and you drank the whole thing.
I could have shotgunned it. It tasted that good. It was dangerously not like, it didn't taste like it had ground up THC in it at all, or whatever they do to it.
I don't
Willy
think they
Wonka
just
would be
grind it
fucking
up and
proud.
sprinkle it in. They don't salt bay
That's
the sticks and stems into the fucking drink.
I'm not gonna lie. That's just kind of where my thought was. I thought this was just a pot smoothie at first.
Okay. Damn. All right. Well, that's a pretty dope little Saturday.
Anyways,
I almost want to.
anyways,
I know we got some actual sports to get to, but I saw a preview or a commercial for that new Planet of the Apes, and I've seen like the first couple, and I always see the commercials, and I'm like, man, I kind of wish I was up on this because I'd like to watch this, but I'm so far removed from the world of Planet of the Apes. I'm not going to go back and watch all that shit.
I'll just only say this: like, whatever disappointment you feel from like any Jurassic World sequels or movies, I know Dylan's seen all of them, I believe, because of kid interest and whatnot. But like, there's a quick decline after like Jurassic World and after Jurassic Park. Like every other sequel's not that great. These aren't better, but like the entire time you're like, holy shit. about 30 seconds in, I was fully over. I was believing these monkeys actually could talk and communicate. Like that stopped being weird about 10 seconds through the film. You realize like how fucking good they looked. It was awesome.
Okay. 25 milligrams.
Again, all in on my ape shit.
It just feels so unnecessary.
What's the pre-workout? Ape cuts or ape shit? Or
Ape shit
Ape
cuts.
shit cuts.
ape shit, of course.
Ape shit cuts. Yeah.
Real or fake craft brewery THC drinks coming to a
Extinct.
podcast near you.
God, that is so much.
Anyhow, playoffs.
Game 7. We had some game 7s.
Let's do it. You had 2 game 6s for the Dallas people on Thursday, but then you got hit with a couple game 7s over the weekend.
We did. And Saturday we had the Bruins Maple Leafs game 7, which as someone who I don't watch a ton of the other series unless it's like some of the marquee guys. If it's a game 7, I'll tune in, especially one that is tied up going into OT. I sent the text out. I tried to do Will a solid. He's complained. Somebody got mad when we did not put that in the group text when there was something like that going on. So I put it in there, didn't get any action. I hope maybe I changed the course of, well, KJ's night was already far gone. But I hope that maybe somebody else who was maybe interested in that saw my text and was like, oh, we got OT game 7. Let's check it out.
Didn't catch that one, unfortunately.
Oh, I'll fuck off.
The only series I've been watching is Stars and my Golden Knights, which went 7 games. Ended yesterday evening.
Yes, it did.
And that one felt like a game that you kind of just felt like it was Dallas's game before it even started. They had been outplaying Vegas the 3 games prior to that. And it went kind of as expected. I thought Dallas was actually going to kind of run away with it there. Even though it was just a 1-goal game, it felt like Dallas had the momentum the entire time. They even put up a graphic on the screen. It was like, I think there were like 15 minutes left in the third period. And the odds, it was like 5. I mean, Vegas was down 1 goal and it was like 5-1 or something. Like it was like it felt like that they were content just being there almost. Like, I mean, I've been saying that the Dallas defense, it just suffocating.
It's very impressive. And Vegas didn't really play well the entire series outside of like Eichel.
Yeah.
Eichel's sick. But I heard some crazy stat, like the team that scores first in a game 7 wins like 75% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much that differs from like a regular game, but that's still a pretty crazy stat. And also you had not Eichel, but somebody hitting the post. And then 15 seconds later, Dallas scores.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit. Well, that's how it goes. And then Dallas
Eichel had a major scoring opportunity that he beefed pretty good.
He'll be thinking about that.
And it just kind of felt like, all right, that was the chance to make this a game. And after that,
it would have been a 2-1 game, 2-1 Knights going into the third. Had he converted that, I believe.
Vegas just had very few good looks at a goal. Very few.
Does it make you feel better or worse that the game-winning goal, what turned out to be the game-winning goal, was just like a fucking backhand deflection
in the very corner of the net? It was a weird goal.
It was wild.
Yeah.
But I feel like that kind of like summed up the series. There were so many just off the wall goals this series. Like, didn't we have one off of somebody's face?
Yeah, the first couple games
not the
had a
goalie's
lot.
face, but like off of a defenseman's face. There was one, and there was another like off somebody's shoulder, but not an intentional deflection. There was a lot of just freaky puck luck.
A lot of crazy angles in game 1 or game 2. Just kind of lends itself to like, hey, just put the puck on net. Don't try to make 2 perfect passes. Just get it there, and somebody will put it back, or it'll hit a skate or a shoulder. That was wild, man. And it's funny you say that because maybe it's just because it's a game 7 and you never feel that good. I did not like the vibes. I didn't have good vibes going to that game at all. It was weird, man. I was almost just like, I was watching a lot of it on my laptop because Rhodes was watching something. I didn't want to fight. And I was just like, here I am watching a Game 7L on my laptop. Cool. But we pulled it out. Now we get to go to Colorado, or they come here.
How you feeling about that one?
I was just informed that this series was supposed to start on Wednesday, but there's a concert at the American Airlines Center, so they are doing it Tuesday. Which sure could use the extra day of rest, seeing as how we just got out of a 7-game slugfest with the fucking defending champs.
How is this
The
conflict just now arising?
I don't think it's like recent, but that's what's ultimately. I don't know. Brett filled me in on it, but there should be an
I
extra
think
day
this
of
was
rest.
the contingency if you had both Mavs and Stars in playoffs. Like that was the compounding factor. Granted, the Stars are the Mavs are on the road for the beginning of their series,
Right.
so I don't know how that plays in, but I think that was the other element here.
Yeah, and we'll have the concurrent Dallas sports playoff games Tuesday night, and it looks like Thursday night, and okay.
8:30 Central, 8:00 Central.
I complained about this a little bit this morning on the other show, but I do not like having two go at once, and I definitely do not like these late starts. Trying to wind down after one of these, win or lose, is just hell. And if it's after a dub, like I feel like I don't get to fully enjoy it. I like to stick around for whether it's inside the NBA, whether it's whatever show. Like I want to get some analysis. I want to calm down. I want to look at Twitter. I want to see who's tweeting about Wyatt Johnston, and I want to see stuff like that. And I don't feel like I can do that if the game ends at midnight on a weekday, especially. But hey, I tip my cap to the Golden Knights. I like that team.
Two quick asides that go off what you're mentioning. Speaking of like inside the NBA, as we're pivoting to basketball, I believe. Shouts to Dirk Nowitzki for his guest spot replacing Shaq on Shaq's Day Off on Inside the NBA. We talk about, or NBA on TNT, we talk about that all the time, every year, how great of a show it is. Shaq obviously is a big part of that. And so when you get Dirk, who wasn't like a huge media personality throughout his career and doesn't do a ton of media now, to be the person that's sitting in for him, granted, it has a lot to do with like his relationship with Charles Barkley and just general level of respect around the league. Like, I was kind of hesitant to like see this go down, and he did well. Dirk's hilarious. It worked out really well.
Yeah, that's a tough job to go in and screw with that chemistry, which like widely regarded as the best post game, show like that. He did good. I went home and watched it after Will's derby party, and I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know. Back to the Stars, Avs. That starts, like I said, Tuesday, and that's going to be a fucking completely wild ass series because the Avs are they play a different style, man. They're just fast, and they've got 2 stars, and they're just, I don't know. Could be a track meet, and I don't know how that bodes for us, but I'm going to try to go up for a game. I don't think I can. Rhodes is still, my 3-year-old is still too young to try to pull hey, I'm going to bring my son to a game. I got to go up. I don't know how well he'd last in a arena like that, and I would be really pissed if I paid for a ticket and watched a period and a half of playoff hockey. But I do want to go.
If only you knew like a diehard Abs fan who above replacement level, Call of Duty guy, but otherwise great dude, probably could join you.
I bet he'll be going. I bet our good friend Klein will be going. Brett might be going. Brett's all in on the Avs, as he told us here when he sat in. He's got them winning the whole thing. So who knows, man? It's kind of it would have been fun if we went for Game 7, Dylan. That would have been a good content. But
It would have been.
Turns out not cheap. Not a cheap ticket.
Yeah, I get it.
Another
KJ.
thing I forgot. Speaking of not cheap tickets, Caitlin Clark's debut happened last week, but her Dallas debut was going on at the same time as the Mavs Game 6, and then the Stars Game 6 was later that evening, even though it was on the road. And they play in a much smaller arena, the Dallas Wings do, hosting the Indiana Fever. But at least 2 or 3 local media personalities who absolutely would have been at the Mavs game, which was down the road, were at the Wings Fever game. packed house. I just happened to look up, okay, what's the closest WNBA team to me is the Chicago Sky, who drafted Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, I believe, from South Carolina. When they play Caitlin Clark, like, what are those tickets? To get in the building, wild guess.
$75.
280.
$670 to
What?
get in the building. Yes. Tickets are absurd. And granted, that's Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Like, it's going to be a lot, but that's in Chicago. Like, they got plenty of shit to do in the middle of the summer. Blown away. Needed to be mentioned. So, yeah, if you can get chance on those tickets.
Is this WNBA regular season? Because
Preseason.
okay.
Right now.
When does the season
Well,
start? Because
that game would be regular season, but that was preseason.
Okay.
I feel like the draft was like 2 days ago, and they're already playing real games.
That was a quick turnaround.
It happens very quickly.
I respect that, honestly.
Yeah. They've got the other weird schedule thing is we'll talk about in a few weeks is Olympics coming up. So they're kind of getting their season going so they can, I believe, be done or be at break by Olympics time.
I guess what's the big story in the NBA at this exact moment?
Probably that what is it? LeBron, Curry, Durant, no longer in the playoffs. Like the star
Indeed.
is like the torch is being passed to the youngsters right now. It's
Kawhi.
kind of the theme.
Kawhi, Russ, Paul George. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But
you
you
scroll down on the rundown, the 6 remaining over 30. I threw that like meme image in there.
yeah,
6 remaining starters older than 30 left in the
Jesus.
playoffs. Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Pascal Siakam, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope without his house monitor, Kyrie Irving, and Drew Holiday. I'll never let that go. Which Kyrie being the biggest superstar name there, all of them in their own right, stars, but Kyrie, biggest superstar, over 30 by a mile. That's wild.
Okay, so speaking of Rudy, he is questionable for game 2. For personal reasons, those personal reasons being he is now a father. So congrats to him. I wonder if this will change how he, prepares for games. This will change like his whole perspective on things, as it often does. You understand what that means?
Yeah.
I mean, because I know I
Press
podcast
conference,
differently.
it's press conference etiquette. You think it'll change that? Think he's learned any lessons?
Yeah.
Not to spread a deadly disease, you mean? Deadly virus?
Patient zero.
I remember that more than any single basketball highlight of his. I could not accurately name one on the court. And I know he's had countless.
It was
but I
kind
could
of
tell
funny.
you our emotions that he had when he was pretending to touch all those phones and mics.
It was funny.
I mean, looking back, it's like, okay, well, I guess he did. I guess he wasn't the reason for the global pandemic.
But he was one of the first in the NBA to test positive for it, wasn't he? If not,
He did the-
first.
he did the bit.
Their game was the first canceled. Yeah.
He did the bit, and then the next day, it was like, he's got COVID.
God, remember when they shut down mid game? Was it I think it was a Mavs game that was being nationally televised.
Warm-ups.
No, it was Mavs Nuggets. It was a Boban game, and the Mavs were the last game to finish. Because I remember Boban was just for whatever reason, Boban was just working Jokic, and that was it. That was then they shut down the season, and that was the last one to be played until
That's right.
the bubble.
It was so weird.
That was weird.
Yeah.
And then the best 6 months of our gaming lives started.
Then they had the virtual fans in the stands where you could pay to be on the screen, which was funny.
The stadium looked dope for the bubble, though.
Considering.
As empty as a lot of these bowl game stadiums are and these random basketball tournaments are, I feel like somebody should be out there trying to figure out how do you kind of fucking make people pay to do this shit again?
God, I forgot about
Because
that.
isn't that what we're going to get with the Tiger Woods Golf League? Isn't it going to be in front? Is a virtual crowd somehow? Anyways, I'm way off topic.
I do
Mavs
that.
have OKC in the second round.
That's yeah. That'll be a budding rivalry. 3 hours separation. I lived in OKC during the rise of the Kevin Durant, Russ, Harden, Thunder, and I hated them. And I didn't really hate them because I didn't like those guys. I hated them because this is pre-Mavs winning a title, and I was like, "Oh, dude, we're never gonna get past these dudes. These dudes are gonna win the next 5 championships." Well, it turns out they didn't win any. Um, and then you had kind of the Mavs dark period post-championship where had a couple playoff runs, but nothing spectacular. I don't think they ever got back out of the first round. And now you have this, and this will be fun. And I think the money's on. It's kind of back and forth, man. But I think a lot of people think this is Dallas's series. But I don't know, man. I am just happy we got out of the first round. I saw we extended Jason Kidd. I will withhold my takes on that until the end of the season, which is kind of cheap. But I don't know. KJ, what's the vibe up there? I know it's got to be kind of weird with no Bucks in this second round.
No Bucks, as was punctuated with Pat Bev throwing the ball at a fan. A lot of chatter about that. I think in general, basketball opinions up here kind of felt like when you've got Dame Lillard and Giannis sitting on the bench for more than half the series, like what do you expect? I'm off topic here, but I'm looking for the Pacers-Knicks series. That's exciting because the Knicks Sixers series was phenomenal. But for the Mavs specifically, I'll defer to you on opinions about how this one will go. I did like the write-up I saw on their last series, which was kind of Dirk's last playoff series. That was Dirk, Wesley Matthews, Ray Felton, Justin, insert last name from Virginia, and
Justin Jackson,
Zaza. Justin Jackson and Zaza.
Zaza Pachulia.
That was their starting five against the final, Russ Westbrook and KD team, and campaign and Russ at the peak of their pregame dance ceremonies, because then KD goes to Golden State right after that series in 2016.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to see. The last time these two teams played, obviously everything was different, but nobody realized for OKC just how bad the next 6 years were going to look for them, or different.
OKC, gotta say, good basketball town. They have embraced the Thunder. They did back then, and that place will be rocking, man. I am more of a minor league hockey OKC guy because the entire arena where I would go watch minor league hockey in Oklahoma City was carpeted. And it just felt really dirty in there. It felt like a big movie theater with
the stands.
Yeah.
No, the ice.
Yeah, I played on carpet. Just like it was all it was just weird, dude. It felt dirty in there. I don't even know that place is still there. It was like the OKC Drillers.
I don't know what I could have been thinking.
The Barons, maybe it was the Barons.
Yeah, they were on rollerblades on carpet.
It just doesn't work well. You're getting lint up in the
it's tough
in the bearings. It's not good for the long
just
term.
Cargo shoes or cargo pants and just fucking real aggressive etnies. Speaking of minor leagues, though, we've seen enough in recent rap battles to know Diddy appreciates all this attention being lifted, but whatever happened to that time one of the OKC players got accused of dating a high schooler? That kind of just came and went. I know that it got dismissed and no charges were being brought to him, but shouts to him for letting that smoke roll over and them not backing down. He kept playing. That was great.
He did, and I can tell you that is the number one source of trash talk against the Thunder. That seems to be the theme.
So I'll hear more in the coming days, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, you definitely will.
Oh man,
yeah. I don't know, man. I wonder if people have turned on the Thunder in the wake of the Shea and Chet "What a Pro Wants" commercial, which has just dominated. Everyone hates it. No one thinks it's good. It's just hard to watch.
It's awkward.
It is awkward.
It's hard to see Chet in any setting that's not Munster's fucking cosplay. He's a unique looking guy.
he's unique and like not even like Boban is like a different kind of unique. Chet still tries to like be cool and look cool, whereas like you could tell Boban that ship sailed. He's Boban. Like he's not
He's got
trying to
enough
be
Eastern
hip.
European to look to where you don't expect it from him. But yeah, Chet's from Minnesota and it shines. Like the chin beard, the lack of like, I don't know, just he ain't got it, which makes you respect Wemby that much more. He makes 7'4" somehow look like just a normal kid.
His name's Chet.
His name's Chet.
You understand?
Yeah, they get a lot of shit in the locker room for that, guaranteed.
Yeah. It would be phenomenal if in the closeout game at home in Dallas and they're up like 14 with 2 minutes left, that the crowd breaks out in a "What a Pro Wants" chant. I don't expect that to happen because I probably won't be in attendance. But if I'm there, I'm going to make that happen.
You're leading it. I appreciate that.
And everybody's looking like, no, like the commercial. You know that one? And I'm pulling it up on my phone. I'm like, I don't get good service in here. I can't get it up. But it's like a play on Christina Aguilera. It's anyway, just chant it with me now.
Who?
KJ, tell us about Texas high school track.
Absolutely. Happy to do so. It's no secret. Texas high school football gets a lot of talk here on the podcast. Not only because it's something that we're all like physically close to, living in the state and whatnot, but just all around intrigued by. And I think that that's easy to see because you would see names go on to be the names you're watching on the weekend. It's very entertaining. Track doesn't always get as much of attention. I posted today on Instagram, that's KJ Ellis with ones as the L's. I believe you'll see it here on screen as well. The Texas high school state track meet happened this weekend. We had 2 national records broken. The 4x1 record, I believe is what we have up. Atascocita out Houston way, I believe north of Houston. Broke the national record earlier this season and ran a sub 39, but at the state meet ran the numbers that you see there on screen, 39 something. Duncanville, same Duncanville, in second place with also what would have broken a national record with a 39 second 4x1. High schoolers, man. The world record's like 36-ish, 37-ish. Like, this is just insane to conceptualize. And then 4x2 was broken as well by Duncanville. With two of the members on these relay teams, both committed to LSU, and then one member on Atascocita committed to LSU. So,
Jeez,
a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Track was a big thing when I was going through, but I just feel like they're taking it so much more seriously now. Just knowing what speed can do to get you into a college, even if you're not like a 4-star or 5-star. But that's insane. I was kind of telling the story. 7th grade, I started playing football. I did not play Pee Wee football at all. Parents wouldn't let me. For some reason, that changed in 7th grade. Probably should have never been playing anyway, because the gap between the guys who grew up playing versus people like me who just showed up to 7th grade, like, yeah, football, just too big to overcome. Anyway, when track rolled around in the spring, dude, the amount of people who had like actual track attire, track shoes, and took it seriously just to go get our 40s time, it blew my mind. As I was doing it all just in my football workout gear, in my turf football shoes, trying to run a 40 time. It was insane. And I cannot believe how seriously it's taken. And I guess it doesn't shock me now that we're now breaking world records in our high schools.
Yeah, it was. The record had been up for 30 years, which is kind of what surprised me because it feels like you should see these things fall every single year, and it's not necessarily the case. Growing up, I ran 400. I ran track. I was not fast, like 4x1 fast whatsoever, but the 400 I could do. And I jokingly declare at the moment that I learned to fully respect the white athlete was getting to high school and doing a track workout. And then, I look over, there's what would soon be like Olympic athlete, Jeremy Warner, running a 400 at like sub 39 or whatever the hell he was doing in high school. And I'm like, oh yeah, I broke 55 once. or whatever the hell it was. It was probably like I broke 65. But just being fully lapped by this dude, just shaved head, white as can be. And I'm like, all right, well, this is a whole different level of talent. And then fast forward to living in DeSoto and seeing like youth track tryouts, ages like 4 to 10 come sign up, like advertisements for it. I'm like, the fuck is going on? You're putting 5-year-olds in track? And like, yes, they absolutely are.
Growing up, everyone has, well, I guess not everyone, because there's people who actually make it. You have that, like that one humbling moment, that like core memory of like, oh, I understand the gap in like real talent versus someone like me who's just like good at my sport. Like now I understand why I will never earn money doing this, because there are people out there like this. And yeah, seeing someone who actually can run very, very fast is a very humbling moment for non-fast people.
Because there's just no excuse. Like you can't blame a team, can't blame a coach. You're just like, that person's fucking better.
Yeah.
Which apparently Matt Carpenter's son's out there doing that to youth baseball players.
Oh my God. Could do an entire
Joke for
segment on
5.
that. Jesus.
Triple play and double home runs for youth baseball. Are you kidding me?
I was actually thinking like, what's more wild there? But the triple play, just the IQ was pretty impressive. Anyway, we don't have to talk Little League. Let's just run it back. We can get on.
Run it back, the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Italian wedding soup, not for Dave. KJ made a menstruation joke that was kind of glossed over a bit there. Dave ate a Big Kahuna chicken cheesesteak from Jersey Mike's for lunch.
Hungry.
He also got a Celsius from Jersey Mike's, which I did not know was a thing until today. KJ drank a beverage with 25 milligrams of THC in it, and then watched the Meg 2, high off his gourd. And finally, what a pro wants, what a pro needs.
Do the voice.
And that concludes Run It Back. What a pro wants.
What a pro needs.
That's all I'm willing to share.
Next week, let's get ready for the PGA Championship. Not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend. And then we're going to talk a little boxing soon, because I feel like there's a few different fights that need to be on our radar. So check back in to hear about all of that good jazz.
Did you see the Gooch is going to be a Valhalla? Taylor Gooch.
I did
Got an invite.
not.
You know, keep an eye on the Gooch, bro. Things are about to get pretty wild. No asterisks this time around. All right, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.